My name is Johan Ströhfeldt. Everyone just calls me Joe, and this is my story. I think I grew up in a very nominal Christian home. As in that kind of Afrikaans culture at that time, many people were in the church in some form, would identify as Christians. But what that actually looked like in our home was very light, Christianity light. Yeah, I think for my dad and myself mostly, we were never really into the Christian thing. I was not really messing around with girls and drinking and getting drunk and using drugs and all of that kind of stuff. And I think I took pride in that, of like, I'm a good person. And that's why whenever I did think about Christianity or faith or religion, I was like, yeah, well, I'm a good person. So whatever happens with good people will probably happen with me when I die. And I'm pretty happy with that. I think meanwhile, back at the ranch, my inner life was just a mess. I was addicted to pornography. I think secretly battled so much just sexual sin and lust and issues of desire. I think my heart was driven by materialism and a desire just to live an easy life and be seen in status and wealth and things like that. And I think just an emptiness. I think this kind of existential emptiness of life is not really going anywhere. Outside of just trying to win at the basic things of life. And I think I felt that. So I would often, when a preacher or some religious person came to our school or I went on a camp, I would respond to the gospel, put up my hand and I want to be a Christian. I want to experience peace. I want to know this God. But nothing would change because I had all my reservations. I'm willing to try a bit of religion, but I'm not willing to give my actual life to Jesus. There was a genuine bit of revival going on, I think, among some of our friends. And two of them specifically, they had started going to these camps in the Western Cape. And I could just see the genuine change in their life. And after some prodding and nagging, they eventually invited me to one of these camps. And I went on a bus to Harold's Bay. And it was just incredible. I had been in Christian environments many times in my life, obviously, and for the first time I really could do a self-investigation of how empty my heart was. I was trying to do a bunch of good things. I was trying to be an outward, religious kind of Christian person, but inwardly I was dying. I was empty. I was lost in my own sin and brokenness, and I could not fix myself as much as my personality type wants to control and fix and, get things the way that I want them. I couldn't do that to myself. And this one evening, I remember there was this light drizzle outside still, so it was just this almost like spiritually heavy atmosphere that the Lord had been building me up to, I think. And that evening, the pastor who was preaching that session at that camp, I think he just so clearly, it's as if my heart for the first time was open to the good news of Jesus, and he shared just who Jesus is and what the good news is. And I think my heart literally just got cut open in the best possible sense of the word. And during worship, right after that, in the response, I'm not someone who cries very easily, but that evening I just cried like a baby. I can still see myself just on my knees in worship, just breaking before God and just saying, please, just take all of who I am. And I want to know you, and not just with a part of my life, but with all of my life. And that journey continues. So Jesus is my everything. There's no doubt about that. But it's learning what that means and being willing to say he's not expecting perfection from me because he is the perfect one and I can follow him. So life is tough. Life is broken often. And we live in a broken, sinful world. And I believe that God's kingdom is available here now in Jesus. But I wrestle with doubt often. I wrestle with the brokenness and the evil of our world often. I'm a skeptic by heart, so it's been also a good 12, 13, 14 years of really making an investigation and a study of what our faith is all about and saying, God, I want to be rocked at times in my faith so that I can deepen my faith. And that's not always been easy, and I've made some big mistakes, and I've sidestepped the path often of maturity, but God is super gracious, and I think that's been the story so far. The opening chapter of the book of John says that Jesus is full of grace and truth. And I think that's been my experience. I can often be a wayward son, and I can run away from the goodness of the Father, but He is just full of grace. Jesus comes to fetch me every single time, and He lavishes His grace upon me. I think it's been an incredible journey for me to discover that grace that is in Jesus. But He's also full of truth, and I think as someone who wants to pursue truth, I've again and again just been captivated by, I can believe what I want about God and life and value and purpose and identity and why are we here, but every single time I come back to Jesus, it's just the most compelling person who's ever lived.